Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Ariel, and today I would love to take you through the first lesson, part 1 of Consciousness is the Only Reality by Neville Goddard. This lesson, it's broken into 5 lessons. I'm actually gonna break them down even further. So lesson 1 will be like multiple videos because I'm just making them like bite-sized videos so people can just like watch them really easily. So today we're gonna look at part 1 of lesson 1. My dog Jasper is in the background playing. But yeah, so I'm going through the content. So first of all, shout out to the owner of realneville.com. All of this material I found on there. You can go check out the website. I think this person like literally transcribed all of the lectures by Neville Goddard, so I can't even imagine how much time it took this person. But if you want to check out the website, it's realneville.com. Also, if you go into the bio of my Instagram page, you will find a link tree where there is Neville Goddard. It's a public Google Drive where you can download the material that I'm reading off of, and there's a credit in there as well, so you can see the website. And I highly recommend going to this website and donating because it just seems like a lot of work to put this together. So what I've done is I basically went onto that website, put it into one document, and it's a PDF document. And if you click on the table of contents, what's cool about the PDF is like it will jump to that topic. So feel free to download that. There's also another material that I'm gonna look at later. It is by Harold William Hodgetts, and he interpreted the Gospel of Thomas, which is really, really awesome material. So you can check that out by downloading it as well. These are both PDFs, but if you guys want the Word document, you can email me and I can send that to you if you want to make changes to it or anything. There is a Word document version of both those documents. So with that being said, I'm going to jump right into the topic. I'm literally going to read this. I was going through and highlighting what was important, and I was going to leave out some of the things that I didn't think was important, but it all is important, so I'm pretty much gonna read it. So yeah, let's get started. Consciousness is the only reality. This is going to be a very practical course. Therefore, I hope that everyone in this class has a very clear picture of what he desires. For I am convinced that you can realize your desires by the technique you will receive here this week in these 5 lessons. That you may receive the full benefit of these instructions, let me state now that the Bible has no reference at all to any persons who ever existed or to any event that ever occurred upon earth. The ancient storytellers were not writing history, but an allegorical picture lesson of certain basic principles which they clothed in the garb of history. And they adapted these stories to the limited capacity of a most uncritical and credulous people. Throughout the centuries, we have mistakenly taken personifications for persons, allegory for history, the vehicle that conveyed the instruction for the instruction, and the gross first sense for the ultimate sense intended. The difference between the form of the Bible and its substance is as great as the difference between a grain of corn and the life germ within that grain. As our assimilative organs discriminate between food that can be built into our system and food that must be discarded, so do our awakened intuitive faculties discover beneath allegory and parable the psychological life germ of the Bible. And feeding on this, we too cast off the form which conveyed the message. Here he states that the argument against the historicity of the Bible is too lengthy. Consequently, it is not suitable for inclusion in this practical psychological interpretation of its stories. Therefore, I will waste no time in trying to convince you that the Bible is not a historical fact. So here I would say, if obviously he did not give an argument as to why the Bible is not historical and allegorical. So I would say do further research on your own. We all have the responsibility to not just take what is given to us, but to research in depth. And I'm sure, I've looked up a few things online, but I would say if this is unsatisfactory for you, do some research. Tonight, I will take 4 stories and show you what the ancient storytellers intended that you and I should see in these stories. The ancient teachers attached psychological truths to phallic and solar allegories. They did not know as much of the physical structure of man as do modern scientists. Neither did they know as much about the heavens as do our modern astronomers. But the little they did know, they used wisely, and they built phallic and solar frames to which they tied the great psychological truths that they had discovered. So the ancients spelled these names. Oh, sorry, actually, I should read this. Before we come to the first psychological dramas that you and I may use in a practical sense, let me state the 2 outstanding names of the Bibles, the one you and I translate God or Jehovah, and the one we call the Son, which we have as Jesus. The ancients spelled these names by using little symbols. The ancient tongue, called the Hebraic tongue, was not a tongue that you exploded with the breath. It was a mystical language never uttered by man. Those who understood it as mathematicians understand symbols of higher mathematics. It is not something people used to convey thought as I now use the English language. They said that God's name is spelled Yod-He-Vah-He. I shall take these symbols and in our normal down-to-earth language explain them in this manner. The first letter, Yod, in the name of God is a hand or a seed. Not just a hand, but a hand of the director. If there is one organ of man that discriminates and sets him apart from the entire world of creation, it is his hand. What we call a hand in the anthropoid ape is not a hand. It is used only for the purpose of conveying food to mouth and to swinging from branch to branch. Man's hand fashions, it molds. You cannot really express yourself without the hand. This is the builder's hand, the hand of the director. It directs and molds and builds within your world. The ancient storytellers called the first letter Yod the hand, or the absolute seed out of which the whole of creation will come. To the second letter He, they gave a symbol of a window. A window is an eye. The window is to the house what the eye is to the body. The third letter Va, they called a nail. A nail is used for the purpose of binding things together. The conjunction end in the Hebraic tongue is simply the third letter, or Va. If I want to say man and woman, I put the Va in the middle. It binds them together. The fourth and last letter, He, is another window or eye. In this modern down-to-earth language of ours, you can forget eyes and windows and hands and look at it in this manner. You are seated here now. The first letter, Yod, is your I am. your awareness. You are aware of being aware. That is the first letter. Out of this awareness, all states of awareness come. The second letter, he, called an I, is your imagination, your ability to perceive. You imagine or perceive something which seems to be other than self, as though you were lost in reverie and contemplated mental states in a detached manner, making the thinker and his thoughts separate entities. The third letter, va, is your ability to feel you are that which you desire to be. As you feel you are it, you become aware of being it. To walk as though you were what you wanted to be is to take your desire out of the imaginary world and put a va upon it. You have completed the drama of creation. I am aware of something, then I become aware of actually being that of which I was aware. The fourth and last letter in the name of God is another he, another I, meaning the visible objective world which constantly bears witness of that which I am conscious of being. You do nothing about the objective world. It always molds itself in harmony with that which you are conscious of being, which is why Jesus called it the world of Caesar, right? You can't change yourself from the outside. Your consciousness has to change so that then your objective world can mirror your change in your state of consciousness. You are told this is the name by which all things are made, and without it, there's nothing made that is made. The name is simply what you have now. As you are seated here, you are conscious of being, aren't you? Certainly you are. You are also conscious of something that is other than self, the room, the furniture, the people. You may become selective now. Maybe you do not want to be other than what you are, or to own what you see. But you have the capacity to feel what it would be like were you now other than what you are. As you assume that you are that which you want to be, you have completed the name of God, or the Yod He Vahi. The final result, the objectification of your assumption, is not your concern. It will come into view automatically as you assume the consciousness of being it. So that is the complete creation of the name of God. Now let us turn to the Son's name, for he gives the Son dominion over the world. You are that Son. You are that great Joshua, or Jesus of the Bible. You know the name Joshua or Jehoshua. We have angelicized as Jesus. Yoshua. Okay, I think it's Yoshua. The Son's name is almost like the Father's name. The first three letters of the Father's name are the first three letters of the Son's name. Yod He Va. Then you add Shin and Ain, making the Son's name read Yod He Va Shin Ain. You have heard what the first three are. Yod He Va. Yod means that you are aware, He means that you are aware of something, and Va means that you become aware of becoming that which you were aware. You have dominion because you have the ability to conceive and to become that which you conceive. This is the power of creation. But why sin? I think it's, so there's sin and there's shin. But why shin, put in the name of the Son? Because of the infinite mercy of the Father. Mind you, the Father and the Son are one, but when the Father becomes conscious of being man, he puts within the condition called man that which he did not put unto himself. He puts a shin for this purpose. and his shin is symbolized as a tooth. A tooth is that which consumes, that which devours. I must have within me the power to consume that which I now dislike. I, in my ignorance, brought to birth certain things I now dislike and would like to leave behind me. Were there not within me the flames that would consume it, I would be condemned forever to live in a world of all my mistakes. But there is a shin or flame within the name of the sun, which allows that sun to become detached from states he formerly expressed within this world. Man is capable of seeing other than the contents of his own consciousness. If I now become detached in consciousness from this room by turning my attention away from it, then I am no longer conscious of it. There is something in me that devours it within me. I can only live within my objective world if I keep it alive within my consciousness. It is the shin, or a tooth, in the sun's name that gives him absolute dominion. Why could it not have been in the Father's name? For this simple reason: nothing can cease to be in the Father. So in other words, anything that you ever did throughout your lifetime is recorded in consciousness, but it can be forgiven from your current state of consciousness. Even the unlovely things cannot cease to be. If I once give it expression forever and ever, it remains locked within the dimensionally greater self, which is the Father. But I would not like to keep it alive in my world, all of my mistakes. So I, in my infinite mercy, gave to myself, when I became man, the power to become detached from these things that I, in my ignorance, brought to birth in my world. These are the two names which give you dominion. You have dominion if, as you walk the earth, you know that your consciousness is God, the one and only reality. You become aware of something you would like to express or possess. You have the ability to feel that you are and possess that which but a moment before was imaginary. The final result, the embodying of your assumption is completely outside of the offices of a three-dimensional mind. It comes to birth in a way that no man knows, which is why God says, my ways are past finding out. So if these two names are clear in your mind's eye, you will see that they are your eternal names. As you sit here, you are this Yod He Vahi. You are the Yod He Vahi Sin Ayin. So that is the complete name of God and the Son. So one of the things is, as you can see, Neville Goddard explained all of this, but for some reason he didn't explain the ayin, or I don't know if this recording, because a lot of Neville Goddard's lectures are pretty old, so some of the audios are really hard to hear. So I don't know if he did skip that, or whoever transcribed this didn't get that part, because in some of these documents there's some thoughts that are kind of incomplete. So I actually bought the book, so we'll see. I'm gonna revisit that, but before I finish, let's see, I'm gonna quickly go through the name again. So Yod He Vahi is the name of God, or Jehovah, in the Hebraic. And so Yod is the hand, or the director, the builder's hand, or also a seed, the absolute, I misspelled that. So the absolute seed out of which the whole of creation will come. He, window, the window is an eye. The window is to the house what the eye is to the body. Va is a nail, a nail is used for the purpose of binding things together. And then you have another window, and then that then translates to Yod is your I amness, your awareness. You are aware of being aware. Out of this awareness, all states of awareness come. And then you have He is your imagination, your ability to perceive. You imagine or perceive something which seems to be other than self. So you are aware of yourself, which is the other. Va is your ability to feel you are that which you desire to be. As you feel you are it, you become aware of being it. To walk as though you were what you wanted to be is to take your desire out of the imaginary world and put a va upon it, which is the nail that binds the imaginary and then objectifies it into your external world. You have completed the drama of creation. I am aware of something. And then this He, meaning the visible objective world, which constantly bears witness of that which I am conscious of being. You do nothing about the objective world. It always molds itself in harmony with that which you are conscious of being. And that is the complete name of God. So, then again, you have the 3 letters of God, which translates as such. I will not go over it again. And then Shin, which consumes or devours, is the flame. Shin, a tooth, that which consumes, that which devours. I must have within me the power to consume that which I now dislike. Or in other words, it's also forgiveness, right? You're forgiving yourself from the past, and you're consuming that part of you which you dislike. I, in my ignorance, brought to birth certain things I now dislike and would like to leave behind me. Were there not within me the flames that would consume it, I would be condemned forever to live in a world of all my mistakes. But there is Shin, or flame, within the name of the sun, which allows the sun to become detached from the states he formerly expressed within the world. Man is capable of seeing other than the contents of his own consciousness. So Ayin is also, I looked it up, is a window. For me, until I get the book, and then I can let you know. What I understand is, like, once the sun, because of the Shin, forgives himself, then again the external world, which objectifies your state of consciousness, is then revised, right? Because now you've forgiven yourself and you are occupying a different state of consciousness. So eventually the external world will revise itself, which is what I think is, it's another window, meaning once you forgive yourself, then your external world will objectify the new version of you. So this is what I understand from this, only because that is what the window means in the Father's name, is that, the objective world will objectify your state of consciousness. So then once the sun comes in and it forgives and there's a new version of you, then that state is what occupies your external environment. So it's another window again. So that is the lesson for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. One second, let me actually, hold on. How do I'm in? Okay, here we go. So I couldn't see. So that is lesson 1. Again, I'm breaking these into parts because lesson 1 is actually 7 pages long. And so I'd love to make these as short as possible, bite-sized videos, so that you guys can watch it and get the contents that you need. And yeah, so I will be reading them most of the time. Of course, I will leave the fluff out. Neville Goddard a lot of the times talks about, like he'll teach a lecture, people will come to him and they'll say, oh, I saw this dream, and he'll like tell his audience about the dream so-and-so had. Some of them can be long. I'm sure they all have a purpose, so if I see merit in like reading that part, I will, but I'm gonna cut out a lot of the dreams and things like that. I'm just gonna go to the core content and read those out to you guys. Yeah, so that is it for today. Thank you for joining, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, or again would like to get the document version of this content, please reach out to me and I'll send that to you. Thank you for coming by, and I hope you have a beautiful Monday. Bye.